What's going on, y'all? Straight to the point, sports and entertainment. I want y'all to hit that like button, sub to the channel if you're not a member, and also hit them notifications too as well, okay? I want to give a shout out to the brother, Brandon Love Sports. Go sub to his channel. Definitely popping over there. LDBC brother as well. Man, listen, man. To sit here and diminish the excitement of what's been going on lately, you had the 73-point explosion from Luka. You also had the 70-point explosion from Joel Embiid. And then, of course, you had 62 by Booker. And, Booker has put up points in the past as well. But there's two things, right? All right, first and foremost, man, these guys are really trying their best to go for records, okay, to get in the record books, okay. Now, here's my thing, right? Okay. If you go ahead and you get in the record books or whatever, are you gonna say, okay, yeah, my job is finished? Now, I'm not gonna go that far about Luka, okay? I'll say that about Joel Embiid because I had somebody unfortunately come and say that what I said about Joel Embiid in reference to Jokic, the Jokic comparison, and they told me, to pretty much get the fuck out of here, and it was BS. And, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but we have to be, real about this. In the regular season, you putting up all these numbers, and I'm not talking about Luka, I'm focusing on Joel Embiid for a second. You're putting up all these numbers and stuff, but then you're hurt in the postseason, or there's something wrong, or you fail to show up. Now, with Luka, we also got to ask this question too, and I'm going to talk about this in a separate video, right? Is he a better scorer on the floor without Kyrie Irving? Because, when Kyrie Irving is not on the floor, and of course they played against the Atlanta Hawks, who haven't played well between last season and this season. Is he a better scorer? Because he's able to do some of the things that if you give Luka the green light, which he already pretty much has. He has the key to the franchise. He is their franchise player. Love it or hate it, he is. Then he's going to go ballistic in terms of shooting the ball. Another thing is we got to talk about, defense. And I'm going to touch on this just very briefly. Now, Brandon Love Sports, he brought up this, right? He said that, is any defense played in the NBA now? And he and other guys, not only in the LDBC, but there's a lot of people in the YouTube community too as well that feel that defense is non-existent, or it's not as prevalent as it once was. It's not an art anymore. And that's because it doesn't appeal to the casuals in terms of who watches basketball, because a big percentage of the people, unfortunately, that are consuming this, this internet and watching, highlights and stuff like that, but really don't sit down and pay attention and watch the game, they're casuals. But, for guys like myself and many guys in the LDBC, okay, we like defense. I want to see defense as well as offense. Now, for instance, right, at one time, I think Golden State, they had an offensive rating of 114.8. That they had the highest in history. Well, the league wanted to appeal to the eye, because people were complaining about the game being slow pace, low scoring games, stuff like that. They're like, it's damn near a football game, stuff like that and everything. But if you play the game of basketball, and I know for me, when I played, the first thing that the coaches wanted to teach you was defense. Because when you get to the playoffs, and I'm talking about NBA, okay, you can go ahead and throw college in there too as well when you talk about the NCAA and Final Four, things of that nature. The game slows down, okay, because then it's gonna become that chess match, and where it's gonna really slow down. It's gonna be a grind it out, because a lot of the guys are fatigued, they're tired, um, they're winded or whatnot. Guys are doing their best not to commit fouls, but you still have to really stop your man from scoring. You have to figure that out. And then it's also going to come down to free throws, and then coaching too as well. Okay, it's not going to just be okay where in the not only in the first half of the season, but really in the first half of a playoff game or a championship game, where you're going to be hoisting up 3 pointers from half court, and they're going to just be going in. It's just not going to happen, because then you're going to have to clamp down. And the reason why I mention that is because, yes, 73 is great, 70 is great, and everything. But at the same token, are you doing it for are you really doing this because you really you want to score and everything? Because I know that when I saw Luka last night, he had said this. He said a lot of people had been chatting, they have been criticizing Luka, and rightfully so. I've criticized Luka. I think he's a damn good player, but does he have a lot to improve on? Yes, he does. And one of the things that he does need to improve on is his defense. Because you can score all day, and then next thing you know, you'll be gassed in the fourth quarter, and that's not only in the regular season, that's in the playoffs too. Now, Stephen A. Smith, okay, who I haven't agreed with much in a very, very long time, but I gotta agree with Stephen A. Smith on this. When he said this yesterday, when they were talking about the Knicks, and him and Kendrick Perkins were talking yesterday and having a debate, and he was talking in reference of Coach Tom Thibodeau. Okay, yes, the Knicks have shot up in their defense. Ever since OG has came over there from Toronto, their defense has gotten a lot better. I think they're up to number 2. He said number 1, but from what I looked at, they're still behind the Boston Celtics. Now it may have changed because of the blowout for Denver, but Kendrick Perkins had pointed out that they were at a 107 in terms of their defensive rating. I think it was like a 107 or something like that. What they've allowed teams to score, not their defensive rating. They've allowed teams to score 107, and now they're only allowing their opponents to score 99.8. That's a big difference. However, the thing that Stephen A. Smith had brought up was the fact that how he hopes that he doesn't run this team to the ground, and then they're fatigued by the time the playoffs come. Okay, now that's happened in the past with Tom Thibodeau teams. Okay, it's happened in the past. We know about the situation in Chicago, where he was running them to the ground. However, like Kendrick Perkins was saying, though, we don't know what's going behind the scene. We don't know if they're giving them rest, things of that nature, because you love it or hate it again, Kendrick Perkins did play in the league, and coaches do often do that. But how this correlates to what I'm talking about is you guys are doing all this scoring in the regular season. You're doing all this explosions and stuff. But then when it comes time to the playoffs, there's things that are happening. And I'm talking about Joel too. Oh, you're hurt. Oh, you're fatigued. Oh, it's too much pressure. Oh, you can't hit the free throws at the line. Oh, you can't close out a game. You see what I'm saying? So, listen, I'm not here to diminish and rain on anybody's parade, but in the words of Drake, we'll see what happens next, because I don't want to hear about that 73 points and all that other stuff that you put up in the regular season. That's not going to mean anything when you get bounced out of the playoffs. So y'all let me know what you think. Shout out to the Lions Den. Make sure you leave your comments, like the video, share it, subscribe, and hit them notifications so that you are notified. Until then, it's straight to the point. I'll get at y'all later.